The honourable member for Cape Breton Centre.
Mr. Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Health and Wellness. Mr. Speaker, the plan to close the community hospitals in Cape Breton makes no sense, and everybody knows it. Community hospitals actually ease the pressure on the larger system because they can provide care to people close to home, keeping those who don't need more serious treatment out of emergency rooms and allowing local physicians to maintain a balanced practice. This is a fact that the Premier and the Health Minister don't understand. If they did, they wouldn't continue to plough ahead with the closure of Northside and New Waterford hospitals. Mr. Speaker, does the Minister regret deciding to close community hospitals in Cape Breton without consulting doctors, nurses, healthcare workers, or any other community members?
The Honourable Minister of Health.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank the member for the question. Mr. Speaker, again, it seems the member is advocating to maintain the status quo, while at the same time arguing that the current system isn't sufficient for providing the care that Cape Bretoners need and want. Mr. Speaker, that's why we're investing in new infrastructure in those communities, Mr. Speaker, to provide the environment for those physicians and other healthcare providers to provide the care to the patients in those communities. And Mr. Speaker, I absolutely will not apologize for that.
The honourable member for Cape Breton Centre.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, medical leadership in the NSHA is bleeding out on the island, and it's no surprise. Over the past few months, we've seen the resignations of several highly respected doctors from leadership roles within the NSHA. Family doctors with emergency privileges are declining to pick up shifts because their own practices are overwhelmed. Sadly, one of the only 2 hospitals to remain in Cape Breton is closed more than ever now, the Glace Bay Emergency Room. All available resources are being funneled to the regional, where staff are being run off their feet. Mr. Speaker, will the minister admit that the crisis in healthcare in Cape Breton is getting significantly worse?
The Honourable Minister of Health.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank the member. I'd like to remind the member that, in fact, as we continue to go through the work on the redevelopment project, investing in new infrastructure, new healthcare delivery models for the Cape Breton region, that we do have doctors coming forward. Just a couple of weeks ago, Dr. Oral came forward to join that program, Mr. Speaker. He's been talking very much, Mr. Speaker, in the community and has been providing feedback. In fact, Mr. Speaker, I think he's spoken publicly about how he's already seen his voice being heard, Mr. Speaker.
Please. Order, please. The Honourable Minister of Health has the floor.
Publicly, Mr. Speaker, through the media, indicating exactly how he's seen his voice already being heard and impacting on the work that's being done planning these new infrastructure projects. So, Mr. Speaker, I advise the member opposite. We do listen to physicians. They are part of this program, Mr. Speaker, and we'll continue to listen to their advice.